Okay, I will call the September 8th, 2020 board meeting to order. And Eric, are you online?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okie dokie. I'm starting to take it personal that you're on the phone again.
I'm trying to multitask is what I'm trying to do.
Okay, without any further ado, I would ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Trustee Bingham?
Present.
Trustee Duncan?
Here.
Trustee Grundon? Here. Trustee Mansell?
Here.
Trustee Mitchell?
Here.
And Trustee Saylor?
Here.
Okay, we are all present and accounted for. And I would ask us all now to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and for a moment of silence for our fallen heroes. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous board meeting on August 11th, 2020.
Moved.
Moved by Duncan,
Second.
second by Mansell, or was that Tiara? That's it, okay. Discussion. Hearing no request to speak, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And this is a new one for me. Entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
Second.
Second, trustees Bingham and trustee Duncan. Discussion. Hearing no request to speak, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? That motion carries. Just wanted to point out that we had two number 7s on there, Colonel.
I see you. Yep.
Public comment on agenda items. Anybody that has dialed in on the phone have any questions? Hearing no request to speak, we'll go into the president's report. I talked to Boz this afternoon, and it is my hope that, and Dana has mentioned it before, common things like approving the minutes of previous board meetings, the payment of the bills and the vouchers and the journal entries. We're going to start next month with what they call the consent agenda. All those will be, like there's 4 things on there, and a trustee has the right to pull one off and for discussion separate. So is there anybody that's opposed to going with the consent agenda? It's just a housekeeping thing pretty much. So we will try that next month then, Colonel, if that's okay?
Check minutes, agenda, bills, and, yeah, gotcha.
It'd be the approval of the minutes, journal entries,
Yeah.
the stuff that we go
Yeah.
across, each and every month.
All right.
The only other thing, Boz will explain a little bit more later, we go over the meetings on item 13 on the agenda for next month. He will explain a little bit about what's going to take place in the committee of the whole meeting next Tuesday, which will follow the CERC meeting at 5 o'clock here, as to how that will go. Okay, I've talked enough. Now we'll go into committee and commission reports. Mr. Administrator, if you want to take the airport commission, please.
I did include, we didn't have the minutes from last month, or July, I should say, so you have July and August. September just met, so we're not going to get those for a few days. The only major event that happened is that they canceled the open house that was supposed to be this week. There was some conflict with the Chamber of Commerce. That's been canceled. They'll pick a new date, and we'll get that out to you all as an invite to attend. And the same thing, if supportable, we will offer either police or fire equipment to be on site to help them with an open house for the public, but more to follow on that.
That's it?
That's it, sorry.
Okie dokie. We will go to CERC committee. Chairman Mitchell, please.
Okay, just a brief review of our last meeting on August 20th. We had a discussion about Rangeline Road. There's been a traffic study, a 1-week traffic study done there. Total of 8,500 cars that are utilizing it, or did utilize it during that week. Approximately 1,200 cars per day. Thinking that everybody's coming and going on it, same people most every day. $8,000 has been spent on that road in repairs in the last month. And there was conversation about the fact that to totally redo that road would take probably about $250,000 to $300,000. So a fairly, obviously expensive project to consider. From Public Works, and Boz may have some more to add to this. We talked about the alleyway project, which is finished. The painting is completed on the water tower. 250 feet of sidewalk has been redone this summer. Permits have been pulled for the siren. Parks update. There was conversation about the Frisbee golf course that needs repairs and maintenance. It's significant. Needs significant maintenance, actually. Also, we will change the minutes when we have our meeting next week. The $12,000 is actually what was spent to build the disc golf course originally. Discussion about building the shelter at Alexander Park next spring. The sprinklers have been installed around the splash pad. We also discussed the fact that 3 veteran organizations are interested in helping the village to fund a veterans memorial at the cemetery. And really, other than correspondence, which I think Boz is going to comment on later too, we had a letter from 6th Street residents having concerns about the condition of the road there. So that's really the highlights of the meeting that we had. So,
John?
question?
I know this was brought up a couple of years ago, Sue, or Mr. President, on the Rangeline Road, and the reason we can't just give it up, what was the reason on that? I mean,
I never got a direct answer when the previous board was talking about abandoning
abandoning that road, yeah.
And Grand Rapids to Saratoga, if I can remember correctly, said that road had to be open because their residents used it. And the talk at the time was tied in with the airport. If we would have abandoned it, the airport would have taken it over, would have gave them more extension for the east-west runway and things like that, but that's as far as it went.
Well, and I would agree that it's primarily Saratoga and Grand Rapids residents, and wow, 250,000. Yeah.
That's why we were.
But don't we as a municipality have a right to abandon a road?
I can't answer that.
I mean, I'm being rhetorical.
I think, I would sure
I don't
think
know
we
why you
can.
wouldn't.
I'm
I don't-
sorry, Dana?
I have no idea why you wouldn't. And I'll be damned if I'm gonna make decisions for this village based on what's in the best interest of Grand Rapids and Saratoga.
Well, especially since I measured it off when I was still working one time when they were talking about this when I was in the squad car. And for another 1/3 mile to the east is Sampson Street. Beautiful wide road, takes you to the airport, takes you right down to the expressway. So it's not worth spending kudos of money on a road like that.
Okay, thank you. That's where I'm coming from. And I
And we wanted to
think I
show
hear
the
that
difference.
from the chairperson.
Yeah, I can't hear.
So and I agree with Trustee Duncan on that.
Dana?
Can we get a definitive answer if we have the authority to do that?
Just so happens Nick will be here for your DMI presentation, so maybe we could ask him.
That's fine, at least we can get a definitive answer, because the only time I've ever heard anybody complain about it is it's friends of mine who live in Saratoga or Grand Rapids and whine we can't close that road because that's the way they take.
And I've heard that also.
Well, fine, if they wanna take that road, then they can tell their, representatives they wanna contribute to the payment on it.
We can continue to put that on the agenda.
Sounds like a plan.
pursue it.
Is that it, Sue?
That is it. That's all I
Okay,
have.
Boz, you were gonna, Sue mentioned you were gonna comment on something later in your report, is that?
Yes. yeah,
That was
probably
on the,
Yeah, I'll mention it, unless you want, I can mention it now. 6th Street, I'm having a meeting with the residents tomorrow at 5.
6th Street.
6th Street, so all the residents are gonna meet me at their location, at their end of their driveways. We're gonna walk on site, I'm gonna tell them exactly what the village plans to do to get them through the winter. We are going to spend about 4,000 to 6,000 in street funds that we already have, and it's been allocated to finish the half that we haven't completed. We're not gonna complete the entire road because we still have to dig up some for pending water and waste lines. So they're not gonna get a full road, but it's gonna solve their water runoff problems for the winter. And I'll explain to them how we're gonna do some extra salting and servicing to assist them out. So that'll appease them into next construction season. And then based on working with the budget as well as the CERC, we'll lay out the plan to complete that road tied to a pending purchase of the property across the street by the developer that's interested, and their contribution of about $50,000 to do the final work so we can lay the final coat of asphalt. So I think we're gonna answer all their concerns tomorrow afternoon.
The developer contractor is showing good interest?
Yeah, they still want it. They want it, once we start negotiating, I'll discuss what it's gonna be wanted for, so.
Okay, any other questions on a particular item? Alrighty, public safety, Chairman Grundon, please.
Public safety, we met September 1st. Everyone was present. For the fire department, we reviewed the monthly report and budget comparison. The fire department is about half done going through the policies with Lexipol and making edits. There are 3 members that have started EMR classes and 1 member that has started EMT basic classes. Then with the police department, we reviewed the budget and the report and budget comparison. Calls are returning to normal level. Chief Drew is still working on the Lexipol. And our police department did participate in a speed traffic grant. We have nothing yet for our next agenda. Our next meeting is gonna be October 6th at 5 o'clock.
Questions for Chairman Grundon? Hearing none. Anything else, Steve? If I can get these papers separated, I think it's the PIT committee. Oh, Finance and Human Resources, Chairman Duncan.
It's backward, because Pitt's next on the agenda,
Yep, sorry.
so.
I'm going by the numbering, I'm
Go
sorry.
to page 16.
Yep.
Page 16, and we'll
Yep.
get back to 14 and 15.
Yep.
Okay,
We met on, what date was it? Last Thursday, so, the 3rd, I believe. We had a preliminary report in regards to, violations at, 241 and 251 Market Avenue, that, will continue to be pending. Further updates will be provided. We have a DMI update that'll be discussed on the agenda of closed session. There was a request from Cyber One. They did never completely provided the information that we wanted, but to get this thing off the snide, we recommended a forbearance for 9 months. Just they stop payment. It continues, the amount that they're gonna have to pay will be still paid. To that extent, I'd move to grant them a 9-month forbearance in their payments due to the economic downturn.
Second.
We are talking about Cyber One,
Yes.
and that is your motion. I have papers on, where the heck is it?
10.
Number 10.
Well, it's under, on the agenda, it's under planning and pit committee.
Yeah.
So we are on that now, just
We're
making sure.
good,
All right.
yes.
So under D, item 2, Chairman Duncan has made a motion to approve the forbearance of payments for 9 months to assist Port Edwards Business Cyber One due to the COVID economic issues. And I believe trustee Grundon seconded that. Is there discussion?
This will be backdated for everyone's information. We're backdating this to when they owe us, so they owe us a few months. I'll get with Diane. So the clock will start, not this month, it'll be backdated. That'll be part of the 9 months. And so roughly, we're thinking right now, they will continue their payment schedule in the January, February timeline of next year. No loss of any income to the village, no forgiveness of any funds. It's just a pushing to the right of their payment schedule.
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And then we're working on actually implementing what's on the books in our ordinances in regards to enforcement, inspection, and such for tenancy in this village, requiring the landlords to comply with the statutes. More to be followed when we have that a little more worked through. But the idea being that we have a significant number of rental properties in the village, either single-family or multi-family dwellings. Several of them have been noticeably falling into disrepair. We would like to make sure that landlords are informed of their responsibility to keep the properties up, and this will be certain things that we will be asking them to do. Things that are already on our ordinance, we'll continue to look at other options if those do not prove fruitful. And that's all I have.
Questions? And we will go in closed session according to the agenda now, but you want to wait until later?
Well, who's supposed to be here?
No, it's just us.
Just us?
We're having a meeting with some lawyers tomorrow. There's no need to bring them in tonight, so it's just us.
Okay, so then,
First, there's the FHR motion to approve the bills and journal entries.
yeah. So, all right, so I'll do the FHR. If that's, okay. We again met on September 3rd, and
Okay, we have a motion by Duncan to approve monthly bills and journal entries for the previous month. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Mitchell. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
motion to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 1985, sub 1, sub G.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to go into closed session as per 1985 subsection 1, section G, conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is involved regarding DMI. That motion is made by Chairman Duncan. Who was the second? Second by trustee Grundon. Ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Trustee Bingham?
Yes.
Trustee Grundon?
Yes.
Or Trustee Duncan?
Yes.
Trustee Mansell?
Yes.
Trustee Mitchell?
Yes.
Trustee Saylor?
Yes.
And President Zerflin?
Yes. Okay, we'll take a brief moment for Nathan to get set up and so we can start.
Is anyone else on the line?
Okay, we have come out of closed session, and we do not have any action that we are going to take at this time on the DMI matter. So we will move on to unfinished business from our previous meeting.
There were two actions that you all tasked me to get a little bit of data on. Bike trails, we did file a grant with the county for $5,000 to $10,000. So we'll figure out, that's due on this Friday, so we'll figure out if we're in the running for that. We filed it jointly to make our efforts more palpable to the county. We're doing it jointly with Wisconsin Rapids. So it's two communities coming together to try to help with the whole process here. That's a combination of marking, proper signage, and repairs. So more to follow on that. For your information, to cost, the best deal we found so far after multiple bids is $50,000 per mile. That is a resurfacing, grinding, just like we do on the roads. Same thing we would do there. The problem we have with our bike trails, though, is that because of how they're built, if we do that, we're going to elevate them some, so it's going to require our portion of it to have some gravel along the sides. Otherwise, there'll be a little bump off. So that's the $50,000. It's like $45,000, but we'll pay $5,000 extra as a village to put in some gravel that our public works guys can do per mile. So that's the number we're working with. Sadly, 2.5 miles are out of the TIF district. The other 2.5 are in the TIF district. But the TIF district 2.5 is in good condition, so we don't need to spend money on that just yet. I'm looking at money to find up that side. So more to follow with CERT committee if the grant comes through. Secondly was the whole ballot box discussion, and I'll defer to Diane on this. I think after good discussion with Diane, the concerns that we may have, that we have to have a separate box, the issues with mail-in ballots. I think we're very comfortable of the numbers that we have, the people that have previously registered, the people that are already dropping it off. The existing box out there can hold a ballot, and it has held ballots in the past. So I think we're comfortable, my perspective there. We don't need to add anything to that plate, other than like we've done on Facebook and on the village webpage to emphasize, do it early, get it in, register. Once the ballots come out, do it, and then get it to us, so then we're doing the proper staffing before election day. Anything to add?
No.
So that's the two due outs. We talked Rangeline Road, that was a due out. We talked 6th Street, and that's good. That's the only unfinished business, I should say.
Okay, Dana.
And you are the one who actually collects if their ballot goes in that box, correct?
Tim usually checks it. Yeah.
Okay, one of the two of you.
Yep.
Okay, and you have the key?
Mhm.
Okay, so contrary to some tweet that I read, you're not some nameless person who is in charge of these ballots and can falsify or forge them, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I just wanted to make that clear.
They're not opened until election day by the poll workers.
Okay, I just saw a tweet, I'm not gonna name from whom, that, fraud is rampant in these boxes. But I just wanted to clarify that.
Don't be a sucker and a loser.
Anything else for unfinished business? New business? Let's go right into the Colonel's monthly report.
Page 19, you see the administrative report for September 2020. Summary at the top, we're moving into the fall-winter season. We're looking good as a village. We've ordered our salt for the winter months. We've stockpiled that. We are in the process of refitting some of the vehicles in preparation for the cold snap that's going to soon come among us. We're talking the COVID numbers, like specific data is in there. We're still under the mass order until 30 September. If that gets extended, then we'll have a discussion as a village if we need to extend it either internally or the state or the county will extend it. Nothing really new on that. No change in our human resources, same amount of employees. We're executing the village budget on track, 74% execution of our payroll as well as our pay and benefits. No concerns there. We have a correction on the splash pad. It is shut down. We shut it down Monday. So change that date in there. The only one that's still functional is the one in Wisconsin Rapids, and that shuts down this weekend. Because of COVID, we don't really have a good accounting of the operating costs on that, so it's going to take us another year to get the true operating costs when it comes to electricity, water, and we'll pass that information on next year after, hopefully we have a better season to see where our true costs come with that project. We're working on 4 major projects, as you see there. The filter replacement is our well number 5. That's the one way out by the cemetery. That's the one that has a large amount of phosphates and copper in the water system. Hence, we have to have a sand filter compared to the other wells do not have a filter. These are just large tanks, probably the size of half this room, that are filled with sand, and we pump the water through it. So it augments our system when we turn on well number 5. That has never been replaced since installation, going on 15 or so years. The concern there is because of the calcification and whatnot, that those tanks we're going to lose the tanks if we don't do this filter replacement. Internal to the budget now, no additional expenses. We were able to wick around some money internally that because of the cost savings with our water department, we're able to do that filter replacement here this year and not roll it into next year's budget. So that's a good thing. That'll be a couple-month process once we get the contractor to come down there. They've already inspected it for us. They gave us a cost between $45,000 to $60,000, worst case scenario. But that basically gets us 20 years of life out of these filters. So it's a long-term project. We saw 6th Street repairs. We talked parking. We're prepping the parks for the winter. Obviously getting the warming shelter, the warming house, those type of things, as well as some of the other facilities at the parks. And that's ongoing. Siren goes on. There's some parts problems with this contractor. So that's been a little slight delay on that. That's basically making me go to a different contractor for siren number 2 because he has the parts all on hand. So we'll get and since you all approved that last month, we'll get the second siren moving forward in the next 30 days to execute at the fire station for a $6,000 saving. We talked about 6th Street. No issues on public safety, all covered by TR, no issues there. Village budget, we're on track, we're executing well. Revenue's still coming in. We're about 90% of our revenue for the year, so it's looking good towards the end of the year. Grants, we got the recycle grant in. I told you about the grants for the bike trails, and we submitted a second one for parks, and that's all internal to Wisconsin Rapids. We're also looking at other opportunities for grants. And this will come out in the budget. We had over $500,000 when you count the legacy grant for the splash pad. For grants this year, it's going to be a lot less next year because the grants ain't out there anymore. So it's going to be a challenge for us to equate the two. Moving down there, nothing new on the COVID reimbursements. The filing date is 15 September. Right now, we're a little bit over $15,000 in reimbursements. So that's good for us. That'll get us some money back in our coffers. I do have a meeting tomorrow night with the American Legion and one next Tuesday with VFW Nakusa to talk about the Veterans Memorial update, either at our cemetery or at a location in port to be determined. So I'll provide some feedback on that. One alibi I'll say on the budget. So next week we are having a committee of the whole, 5 o'clock on Wednesday, following the CERT committee, or Tuesday, sorry, following the CERT committee on 15 September. All will be required for attendance to include it's open to the public as well. There'll be a briefing we'll do in here. I'll try to get the large screen TV moved over here, so I'll set it up here so we can look at a screen as well as have hard copies. Just a little bit more easier to manipulate the data and to show that to you all. Once the president sets the tone for the meeting, I'll go into about a 20-slide show. This is basically a build on what the FHR received last week of the recommended or the proposed 2021 budget, and then we're able to peel away and have some separate discussions on payroll and some other things that are going to come up, and then we'll set some key dates that we need moving forward. So that'll be the committee of the whole next week. I talked to the president about this. We established, it's an informal residence holiday committee. I have about 6 to 8 very active residents that are helping not only help me inventory the equipment we have at Port Road, but want to lay out to us their recommended positioning of a lot of these holiday items, from a tree to items on Market Street, as well as items at the entrance of all port access roads. So they're going to present that to me at the next meeting, and then once I put some sanity check on that, see if we have power at these locations, then I'll present that information. I think I probably won't need to present it first to CERC's next meeting. It'll be the next month meeting though, unless you feel a different committee to take it on as the first swag, and then it'll come to the whole board for a discussion. The great thing about it is all citizen driven. They were very excited. They were on their own time. I didn't pay them anything. They showed up. They helped me inventory stuff. They had great ideas. Everything from setting an old tree lighting ceremony over here on this lot next to us here, unused village property, to positioning some of the items along Wisconsin Drive, to marking our perimeters, our steins with some type of decorations, as well as recommending or requesting, is there a way we can set up what they call a parade of lights, where we drive through port certain roads, we identify them, we drive through, people decorate their own houses, and then we find stuff at people's houses. We put a big bow in someone's yard, and for the kids there's a little map and they can mark.
Scavenger.
Yeah, something like that. And then it has community interaction there. So those are the ideas that they'll present to me, and then I'll present them to you all if they make sense. Census update, no changes there, slight changes there. We're looking good census-wise. And the COVID numbers are there, the most current as of Friday, did not include over the weekend. So you see some numbers there. We did have a slight spike, not only regionally, but in port with a few cases, came up and down. But that's the nature when you test a lot more people, you're going to find it out there. So. And right now, to the best of my knowledge, there's been no incidents at the schools opening this week, none that are at least reported. And that's good news. Subject to your questions, that's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Questions for Boz? Okay, hearing none, we'll go to clerk treasurer.
Okay, I just wanted to say that we did get a separate CARES Act sub-grant through the Wisconsin Elections Commission for election expenses due to COVID. And that was based on population. We already got that. It was 1,300 some. And we just have to track the expenses and submit them, and we're already over the 1,300, which is good, because anything you didn't spend, you had to return to them. So, just to let you know, we did get that too.
Good. Did it, Dan?
That's it.
Best of luck in November, by the way. It's that election. Eric, I just checking to make sure you're awake out there. We're going into trustee comments. We haven't heard from you all night, buddy. You have anything to say?
Nope, I'm good. Easy peasy.
We should get Zoom or WebEx, keep an eye on that man when he's not here. Just saying. Okay, Colonel, back at you for committee meeting calendar.
You see the dates there, and correct me if I'm wrong with any conflicts. I added the committee of the whole in there, so your next meetings for all your committees and the times. The only out of the norm time was an adjustment CERC at 4 o'clock on 15 September. Are you good with that? That's the only, everything else is the same that we've been doing, so.
Everybody okay?
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Did you ladies hurt yourself? Who was second? We stand adjourned.